Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was a run through Pokemon Crystal with a single Dratini and we managed to make it out without an excess of problems. Today though, we are in for pain as we see if I can beat Pokémon Fire Red with just a single Azurill. You may wonder why this is going to be painful. Let's have a look at the stats. It's worth remembering we are pure normal type here, not fairy, so we are weak to fighting and immune to ghost. We've got 50 points in our HP, which is far and away our best stat, 40 in our defences, but our attack stats and speed are atrocious, giving us a 190 total. That is actually 5 points worse than Caterpie and Weedle. For some perspective, do we at least get a good moveset? What do you think? We don't start with a damaging move, we don't get one until level 10. But at least with Bubble, we should be able to do something in the Rock Gym. Slam is usually useless in my experience, and Water Gun is meh. Via TM, we do get some better moves, Ice Beam, Surf, Return, even possibly Iron Tail and Hidden Power, but we are going to have to make the best of a bad situation with those. There are a few moves via Tutor, Body Slam, Double Edge, Mimic and Substitute. That last one could be handy. As always, the rules are on the screen throughout. If you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow links in the description to Twitter or Discord. If you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Now, I actually think that when it comes to the rival, the hardest opponent for us to fight is probably going to be Blastoise. So, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Azurill, so that I can do the whole run with it. We do get both super effective moves against Venusaur and Charizard, so that's my logic. I nicknamed the Azurill Bouncy Bee because it felt right and I stand by that decision. I am hoping for huge power as an ability. We don't get it, we get Thick Fat, which is a bit meh. Mind you, I'm sure it'll come in handy somewhere. We've also got the Mild Nature, so more special attack and less defence. That could be handy given we learn both Surf and Ice Beam. I don't even want to talk about the rival fight. There is no way for us to win. I don't bother with Charm because that will just make the fight last longer. So, Bouncy Bee just sort of splashes ineffectively. Oh, this next bit of the game is going to be painful. I can already tell. No attacking move, it's absolutely brutal. It's something we've got to get past, but I am not looking forward to it. I don't even doubt that we can get past it, but I'll talk more in a moment about what we have to do to get an attacking move. Rod is a little smug when he wins for someone who beat an opponent who couldn't really fight back, but oh well. So, here is what I have to do. We have to head to Viridian Forest and find either Metapod or Kakuna, and then we have to burn our PP. This is going to be awful. We have to get to the point where we can struggle and then we can fight back. But the problem is, we're going to get badly hurt in that process. And if we faint or have to go and heal, we're going to have to burn all our PP again. So, I'm going to get my head down for a few hours and we'll see if I can do this with my sanity intact. There's also a downside too. Kakuna and Metapod only have 30 PP on Harden, so we're probably going to have to run before they start hurting us. I would like to say it gets easier from here on out, but chances are, probably not. Oh, and we can't always run from opponents either because sometimes we get outsped by Caterpie or Weedle. I did buy some potions, but I'd rather not use them unless I have to. We do make it eventually, but Bubble is still not a powerful move. Hopefully it can make it so that we can get through Brock. Yeah, Bubble is weak and Slam is Slam, need I say more? On the subject of Brock then, let's take a stab at him. I think we might have a chance, we're levelling up, we've got both Bubble and Slam and he has a quad weakness to water. So, I think we're going to have a decent and better chance. Plus, let's not forget Onyx usually hits with all the force of a wet tissue, so we might be okay there. Geodude is a 2-hit with Bubble, let that sink in for a moment. But thankfully, it only goes for Defense Curl, so that's not even close to being an issue. Before we go for the fight with Onyx, and it is a good thing that size doesn't mean anything. It misses a bind at the first turn, and although it does land the move at the second attempt, we can hit it with 3 bubbles to bring it down and give ourselves a victory. That is moderately unsettling that we can't one-hit a Geodude, but I guess it doesn't matter now. We move towards Cerulean City through Mount Moon, and I make sure to fight a bunch of Geodude in here because we can fight them off easily. Plus, I'm sure those defense EVs will come in handy somewhere. Shame about our nature lowering that stat. About the best upcoming moves we can get are Water Pulse and Secret Power in TM form, but we've got to beat Misty for one and the Nugget Bridge rival fight for the other. Oh, and while I'm here, there's a thing with a fossil and something about algorithms and all that. Just in case you were wondering. I enter Cerulean City and I decide to go and take a stab at Misty, just to see how we match up. It might be that we get absolutely bodied, and I think there is a pretty good chance that we will, if I'm honest. Our best move is Slam, and the accuracy is trash at the best of times, so let's find out. You know what though, this actually goes way better than I thought it would, but I started at a pretty low bar, so yeah. We do actually beat Staryu pretty easily. It only ever goes for 2 hardens, which is pretty massive because we don't get hurt. I'm worried it'll survive the second slam, but no, we land both of them and it goes down with little difficulty. Starmie is a different proposition though, and that's infinitely more worrying. It starts hitting us with water pulses and they hurt massively, so that's not good. We do about 2/3 of its health and eventually it does put us down with Swift. That wasn't unexpected, we did what we could and I think I need more levels. So, we have the option of trying the rival fight, and I don't even think we've got much more of a chance right here in this battle. I think we are just going to get murdered by Pidgeotto landing Sand Attack. That isn't going to do us any favours, I don't think. I'll try it just to see if we can get around it. Worst case scenario, we have to go and grind. Hey though, this actually goes pretty well. Pidgeotto never goes for Sand Attack, so just like that, all my worries fade away. We do get hit with Gust and Quick Attack, but it's not like that's an issue. We shrug them off and take it out with 2 slams. That is a disconcerting amount of times Slam has landed in a row now. Rattata is next, and wow! Slam lands again. We outspeed and one-hit the rodents before Squirtle is next. It begins to fire water guns at us. We hit 2 slams to take it down to red health, and then my nerve goes. I have a lot of worry that Slam is going to start missing, so I take it out with 2 water guns. We do take a decent bit of damage versus Squirtle, but I'm not worried once we take it out because Abra can't fight back and we soon knock it out with Slam. After getting the SS ticket, I'm at level 31 and I've replaced Slam with Secret Power, which has slightly less power but infinitely more accurate. I decide that I'm going to give Misty another try, just to see how it actually works out. Worst case scenario, I go around and clear out the SS Anne. So, it goes slightly better than last time, but not by much. Staryu is still a 2-hit takeout. The only difference here than last time is that it only goes to 1 harden rather than 2, and we take some damage from Water Pulse. Not much, but some. When we're fighting Starmie, we just can't do enough damage. We do hit some secret powers, and we even get the secondary effect of paralysis, which helps, but not quite enough. Starmie never gets fully paralysed, which, even one instance of which, would have helped immensely. I get my hands on a hidden power TM, and figure I'll try it out, see what type it is, and how much use we might get from it. I feel like grass or electric might be most useful. That's just my take on it, but we shall see. An encounter with a Pidgey tells us that the move is super effective. It can't honestly be electric type, can it? Let's see if we can find a water type and take it from there. It's electric, ice or rock. Testing it out on a Magikarp, the move is not very effective, so that's ice type then. Oh, that's not good at all since we can get Ice Beam later. At level 37, I go and make another stab at Misty, just to see if our chances have been increased or not. I kinda want Water Pulse before I go up against a rival. Not sure if it'll make a difference or not, but it's worth a try. It's just an improvement on Water Gun. We are over double Staryu's level at this point, and we outspeed and absolutely wreck it with Secret Power. So we come out of that fight at full power and ready to throw down with Starmie. Of course, on the first turn, we get hit with a crit water pulse that wipes out a good chunk of our health and immediately confuses us, because of course it was going far too well. But at least we never do hit ourselves in confusion, and eventually we do shrug it off, plus we get the paralysis onto Starmie, which is massive because not being hit first does us a lot of favours. She does eventually heal the starfish, which, not good, but we can keep hitting it with our secret powers, and eventually we do bring it down despite taking damage. The SSN rival fight is next then, and there's not really any fights between Misty and here, given I already cleared the area out, but I think the next bit of the game shouldn't be too bad. We'll have to see. I think we should be able to move through the gears now that we're getting something approaching a decent moveset. Pidgeotto goes down to the combined assault of Water Pulse, Secret Power and Water Gun, but we do get hit with Quick Attack and Gust in exchange. But again, no Sand Attack, which is always nice. Raticate is next and we down it with Secret Power and a Water Gun for a quick win. That leads us into the third opponent, who is Kadabra, and we strike that down with Secret Power for the knockout. The last opponent is Wartortle, and our first Secret Power is a bit over half, which is nice, but it goes for withdraw and survives our second attack. I figure that Water Pulse will be enough to take it out at this point, but I'm actually wrong. It survives one Water Pulse and we have to use a second one to take it out. We've got the fight with Surge next, and I can honestly say that I'm not looking forward to it, even slightly. He can be quite awkward, especially his Raichu. There is a paralysis and double team issue for sure. It can be quite frustrating, I stand by that. Voltorb and Pikachu are both one-hit takeouts with Secret Power, and that's a big relief. It means we're fully healthy and in great shape going into the fight with Raichu. We paralyse it with Secret Power, which means it survives, but it also paralyses us with Thunder Wave. Now we're even. Surge goes for a full heal, which is a fatal mistake. We beat the paralysis and strike it with another Secret Power to bring it down and give us the third badge. As we go through Rock Tunnel, let's do some Azurill trivia. Along with Wailmer and Kecleon, it was one of the first Gen 3 Pokemon revealed on March 7, 2001. It has a 75% chance to be female before Generation 6, and in Gen 9, Azurill and its evolved forms are the only known Pokemon that can have huge power as an ability. It has the lowest base stat total of all normal Pokemon, and also all fairy Pokemon, as well as the lowest base stat total of any baby Pokemon. It is the only Pokemon with that base stat total of 190. Along with Togepi and Marill, it has the lowest base attack of all fairy type Pokemon, as well as being tied with Marill for the lowest base special attack of all fairy type Pokemon. Before Gen 6, 1 out of 3 female Azurill evolves into a male Marill, depending on the personality value. It is the only Pokemon that can do this, but it was changed from Gen 6 on. It is the only Pokemon who evolves through friendship, whose evolved form evolves by level. It is also the only Pokemon introduced in Gen 3 who evolves through friendship. It is tied with Shroudle and normal form Terapagos for the shortest normal type Pokemon. There is a rival fight in Lavender Town, and I go and get the return TM beforehand. Not sure when we'll use this, but we will. Secret Power is pretty useful at the moment because of the chance for secondary effects. I mean, either way, our attack stat is low. Huge Power would have been really useful on this run. Anyway, versus Rod. We almost get away with it, but it's just too much for us. We get a crit with Secret Power on Pidgeotto, which is massive as it goes down. No Sand Attack for us once again. Growlithe is next and we're intimidated. This is important for later. It survives Water Pulse and hits Leah before we take it out with Water Gun. Execute survives Secret Power and lands Leech Seed, but we do take it out with another Secret Power that crits. Kadabra goes down to Secret Power before we start trading blows with Wartortle, who goes to withdraw after taking about half its health in damage from Secret Power. So, we've got weakened attack, it has buff defense, and we're losing health to Leech Seed. So, we simply can't win. We do our best, we inflict a lot of damage, but too much of it gets healed back up and we go crashing down in defeat. I'm going to come back later for retribution. In Celadon City, I've got the choice between Giovanni and Erica, and I decide to go and tackle Giovanni first, fighting my way through the rocket hideout. I begin the process of trading in my money for the Ice Beam TM because this will come in handy later, no doubt, as we begin the fight with Don Gio. I'm not expecting the first bit of the fight to be a problem, but the really worrying thing is that even above level 50, there's level 17 Raticates in here that we can't quite one-hit. That is terrifying. Giovanni is easy at least. We strike through his Onyx and his Rhyhorn with Water Pulse, and that's something that pretty much should be expected, given their overwhelming weakness to water and our advanced level. So, that just leaves Kangaskhan, and although we get hit with Fake Out, we keep slamming into it with Secret Power. And on the first turn, we get the Paralysis, and it never gets the chance to hit us again. And so, we hit it 3 times with a move, and we take it down hard to give us the victory. With Ice Beam in hand, I figure I might as well make a try on Erica and see how we match up. With Ice Beam, I think we should be fine in the Pokemon Tower rival fight, since it should deal with Execute easily enough, who was the problem last time. Erica though, I get a pretty fortunate amount of luck in this fight. So, we start versus Victory Bell and we hit that with Secret Power. Now, I am already kicking myself for not putting a Cherry Berry on Bouncy Bee, but we get the Paralysis and we also watch Victory Bell end up fully paralysed. Nice dude! We finish that with Ice Beam. Next is Tangela, and Ice Beam cuts straight through it to give us a one-hit knockout before the final opponent is Vileplume. Ice Beam does about 2/3, not enough to put it in healing range, and then she misses Stun Spore before we take it out with a second Ice Beam. That was pretty fortunate, 4 badges down. Back to the Pokemon Tower and the rival fight. I think we're probably going to win this time. Probably. I think the issues we had last time aren't going to be issues this time. Put it that way. Is this optimism? Why yes, it is. Pidgeotto goes down to Ice Beam right at the start. That's no sweat, no doubt. The Growlithe is one hit by the Water Pulse this time, and when it comes to Execute, we strike the Ice Beam to cut straight through its health bar. We take it down without being Leech Seeded this time. Kadabra goes down to Secret Power before Wartortle is last. And though it keeps spamming Withdraw, we hit 3 Secret Powers over the course of the fight to bring it down and give us the win, giving us some measure of revenge. I was curious about something. Just how bad is our base stat total? This is the lowest base stat total I've ever done a challenge with. Previous lowest was Pichu, but at 205 that was still 15 points better. Cleffa was a whopping 218, that's nearly 30 points better. Sentret had 215, Wooper had 210, but still. You know, I thought Pokémon Fire Red with Makahita was bad, but that's got nearly 50 points more than Azurill. I don't know if we'll actually be able to do this, you know, but let's see. When you think of baby Pokemon, you think of Togepi. Togepi has a base stat total of 245, which is nearly 60 points better than us. Also, the third ever challenge I did was with Marill, who has 250, so again, massively better. Looking at the rest of the run, I think Koga will be awful. Blaine and Giovanni shouldn't be too bad. Sabrina could go either way, but the rival fights and the Elite Four I can see us struggling badly in. I'll probably have to resort to double team at some point. I don't think we get another viable option attack-wise, unless I want to use Iron Tail. And I may have to, given our lack of other options for Agatha. Anyway, I decide to head south to Fuchsia to get the Surf HM, and while I'm here, I decide to fight Koga and see where we stand. I'm not confident here, for sure. I think we are going to get absolutely walled by Muck. There's the risk of poison, and that isn't going to do us any favours. We are in our 60s level-wise, and I don't think we'll have anywhere near enough power, but we'll have to see. Maybe I can get some lucky shots in. Maybe. Well, it does kind of go better than I thought it would, but we still get the loss. Versus the first Coughing, we hit Secret Power, and although we paralyse it, it doesn't stop it from moving, and it lands Sludge on us. 3 guesses what happens next, and the first 2 don't count. Yep, we get poisoned. We have the leftovers on, however, we take more damage than we can heal, which isn't good. We do take the coughing out and then fight Muck, but our attacks don't do much damage to it. We strike it repeatedly with secret power and even an ice beam, but it does just over half as it goes to sludge and minimise. We crit a secret power to take it out, but I still don't think we're going to win as we face the second coughing. And although we do 2-hit that with Surf, we are slowly getting weaker as the fight goes by, and I know it's a case of when we go down, not if. Wheezing shrugs off the Surf and then ends us with Sludge to give us the loss. I guess I might head up and clear out Silphco. That looked a close fight versus Koga, but it really wasn't. We got lucky with the crit on Muck, so I think we need to be a lot stronger. Not just for Koga, but for the rest of the game. Even with another 10 levels, I'm not sure how much success we will have. But hey, once I've beaten everyone, I could try the rival fight here. It is actually worrying to think I might believe that I have more chance of success there. In terms of the channel, there have been some updates for Resident Evil 5. There's been a few bits of TCG stuff. Not much in the way of Master Showdown. There's not really been a chance for us to get together and do it. I did start recording the epilogue of Pokémon Violet, but I haven't had the chance to finish it yet due to some family issues. I've also got some episodes of Infinity Fusion and one episode of Colosseum left to upload. I need to work out whether to stick or twist on Colosseum if I'm going to carry it on or not. It feels like I should, but it's just such a slow game. Next challenge, I'm going for one that shouldn't, in theory, be too bad. I want a potentially smoother one before the next two to follow. Next time, it's going to be Pokemon Yellow with a single Poliwag, before following that up with a Heart Gold challenge and an Emerald challenge, so I want to be able to give them a bit more time if need be. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Let's go try this rival fight, and I'm pretty sure that it might be closer than the one versus Koga was. Like I said, it feels like a really strange position for me to take, but I guess we can only see how it goes. I think we may struggle to damage Blastoise, but I'm not sure just how much it can hurt us. Execute could also be an issue, but if we one-hit it with Ice Beam, it won't be. Pidgeot is a 2-hit with Ice Beam, but we also get a freeze off the first one, which absolutely massive because it means it can't do something unspeakable to us, like a sand attack. That suits me all the way to the ground. Growlithe is next and we're intimidated, which is annoying, or at least it will be, but we down it with Surf. Execute is a 1-hit with Ice Beam, and that's a massive relief because it stops Stun Spore or Leech Seed. Alakazam is next, and things go slightly wrong here because we hit Secret Power and paralyse it, which is unfortunate because it has the Synchronise ability, and suddenly we're also paralysed, but we do take it out. Blastoise then, and by a crit off Water Gun that happens early on in the fight, there's not really a lot it can do to hurt us. The Water Guns we mostly shrug off. It does use Protect sometimes, which is annoying, but when we do land our moves, which not always a guarantee because of paralysis, it doesn't do that little damage. Maybe about a fifth. I am hoping to paralyse it, but that never comes. Late on in the fight, it does begin to use Bites, which is massively irritating, given that thanks to paralysis we are slower, and the flinch risk is there, and we get caught by it a few times. But we do slowly wear it down with our secret power attacks, and eventually we bring it down. There, a huge sigh of relief. Giovanni, I'm not expecting to be an issue, even slightly, but we are about to see. I could be wrong, and I am, rather annoyingly. I turn out to be very wrong indeed. So, Nidorino isn't a problem, it's a free hit takedown with Surf. I mean, I say that's not a problem, we are nearly double its level, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to hit it with Secret Power because, although that probably would do more damage, it would potentially poison us. Mind you, that's not a bad outcome because we immediately get paralysed by Nidoqueen on the next turn when she lands a Body Slam. And again, despite the move being super effective, it takes 3 Surfs to bring Nidoqueen down, which, a bit of a touch irritating, especially when she uses Tail Whip on us to lower our defence and hits another Body Slam. Kangaskhan goes for another Tail Whip, we paralyse it with Secret Power, but we fuel its rage when it goes to that move, and all it takes is 1 Mega Punch to beat us down from about the half health mark, and despite a good effort, we soon go down. I don't think we can win this fight if we are paralysed. let us try that again. I feel like we can do it with a little more fortune, so let's see. I consider what went wrong last time and head into it again. This time we 2-hit Nidorino as we land the surf attack, and then after it goes to horn attack, but we take it out with secret power, but no poison. I get an amazing slice of luck versus Nidoqueen as we land Ice Beam and freeze her solid. She never defrosts over the course of the fight, and so we land 2 surf attacks to finish her off and take the knockout. Kangaskhan is a free hit with secret power, which is pretty nice, especially as it only ever goes for 2 tail whips to lower our defence, which isn't going to do it a massive favours, I'd imagine, as the last one to emerge for him is Rhyhorn, and we can at least one-hit this one with Surf, and so we have the victory over him, which is pretty nice as we can move on. While I'm in town, I figure I'll fight Sabrina. I might be getting rid of secret power shortly. We might need the extra power in favour of return, and it's not like we've had a lot of fortune from the status conditions. Plus, we are about to fight the Psychic Gym, and there's 2 more Alakazam fights ahead, and Synchronise might be an issue as we saw in that rival battle. Sabrina herself isn't an issue, it probably takes longer to get to her as we travel through her tile puzzle before going on the assault with Return, taking down Kadabra with the move in a single hit, before Mr. Mime doesn't last any kind of better. I wondered if Venomoth might survive, but nope, it doesn't, and we even take Alakazam down in 1 hit. This fills me with confidence for the final rival fight, because we possibly won't get intimidated before the Alakazam fight if he keeps on doing what he's done so far. I best go and fight Koga again, since we can't go to the Fire Gym until we do beat him. I mean, I don't think we'll have too many issues versus Blaine, but we need to figure out a way past Koga first. I might try Brute Force and see how it does this time. I don't entirely have a better plan. Well my, this actually works out. So, Coughing number 1 goes down to Return, which, absolutely massive. Muck is a 2-hit with Return. It only goes to Minimise, which works out for us because it doesn't cause us to miss. I breathe a huge sigh of relief. We don't quite put it in healing range as we bring it down. The second Coughing is defeated in the same way as the first one, which is about all I'm going to say on it, before Wheezing is last and we trade blows. We can't hurt it too much, the returns and surfs do under half, and eventually we knock it into healing range. We do get hit with 2 sludge attacks, but in something approaching a minor miracle for this franchise, neither of them poison us, and we eventually crit a return to bring it down. Blaine then. It's about time for that ability we got to pull its weight. Thick Fat reduces damage from fire and ice attacks, so in theory we might be okay. I certainly hope that we can survive some attacks from his team. In a show of arrogance, I'm also going to forego health recovery in favour of the Mystic Water, because I'm not sure we'll need the health recovery. Plus, Return isn't going to do us a ton of good with 2 Intimidates about to hit us. Anyway, Growlithe goes down to a single surf, and in the next round of the fight, Ponyta does too, so we've made it through half the fight unscathed, which, pretty nice. Rapidash survives surf and hits us with a crit fire blast, which, somewhat annoying, but as Blaine heals it, we crit our surf and bring it down to put us into the fight with Arcanine. It survives our surf and hits a fire blast, but we shrug it off and take it out with another surf. We're nearly there. Time to head back to Viridian City and face Giovanni. So, I don't know. We have a super effective move, but we saw at Sylph that Surf isn't a guaranteed kill on some of his team. Well, I don't think either of the Rhyhorn will survive it, and we can probably wreck Dugtrio with Return, but the Nido royalty might be rough. We will see. The power to be confident in this fight is a magical thing, and we should at least be able to hit reasonably hard. So, we take the first Rhyhorn out with Surf, and that wasn't a surprise, before we then have to face Nidoqueen, who we hit with an Ice Beam. She survives and hits an insipid Earthquake, which we shrug off, before taking her out at the second attempt. Nidoking is a bit harder. He survives Surf but falls into healing range, and his Earthquake does a bit more damage, so we have to continue hitting it with big tidal waves, when eventually we do bring it down for the count. Bit more of an obstacle, but not insurmountable. Next is Dugtrio, and we clatter it with Return to take it out, before the last opponent is the second Rhyhorn, and we surf it down. Okay, let's head to Route 22 and do the rival fight. We didn't do the one earlier in the game here, but hey ho, doesn't really matter now. I think we'll get a good idea here of how bad the last bit of the game might be. Again, I think we'll win, but it won't be an easy fight. So, this was a little worrying. We face Pidgeot at the start and it survives our Ice Beam. That means we're going to have to face at least one attack in the champion battle unless we freeze it. Here, we get hit with Feather Dance, even as we take it out with another Ice Beam. Rhyhorn is next, but we take it out with Surf, so that's not a problem. Growlithe is third, and with Intimidate, that's our attack, well and truly crippled at -3, even as we surf it down. Execute goes down to Ice Beam before we face Alakazam. Now, this could have been rough. It takes 2 returns and a Surf to bring it down, but it just fails with Disable a few times, which is an interesting tactic. The fact we're only doing moderate damage to Alakazam is immensely worrying, and as we do slivers of damage to Blastoise with Return, that worry is only compounded. I lose track of how many times we have to hit it, but we are at full health when we begin fighting. Come the end, we very nearly lose due to damage over time, and without the leftovers, we would have lost for sure. It puts the rain up and starts hammering us with water guns. That's fine here, but it'll be Hydro Pump in the final fight, and that is going to hurt way more. It takes so many efforts to bring it down, but eventually we do just that and we do take the victory, but this is not filling me with confidence for the end. As we go through Victory Road, let's talk about what's ahead. Lorelei might not be too bad if we can overpower her. We do resist ice type moves somewhat thanks to our ability, so we should be able to weather a few attacks, but I think the tankiness of her team, Cloyster, Slowbro and Lapras in particular, are going to be worrying. Bruno, well, the 2 Onix shouldn't be too bad. It depends if we can one-hit the duo of Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee or not, and Machamp will likely be brutal. Agatha worries me massively, hence the reason I was talking about Iron-Tail earlier. I have got that TM just in case. Return isn't going to work, and Surf and Ice Beam might not do enough damage, but then again we will have to deal with an Intimidate from Arbok. Gengar is also going to double team, which is going to be infuriating. Lance, another Intimidate right at the start, and possible paralysis risks from the Dragonair, so that's also going to be rough, even with our super effective Ice Beam. I think that might be the point where I do need to start double teaming, because I think I'll need it for the final rival battle for sure to ultimately win. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm not so sure. We are at level 89 where we make it to the Pokemon League, and here are our stats. If you've been paying attention, you may have caught glimpses of them throughout. How bad are these? Somewhere between abysmal and atrocious. I mean, if I wanted to be kind, I could say the speed and defences are okay. That's being very kind. We've got a nice special attack stat. Our special defence is probably somewhere approaching passable for what we are, but well, we're not hitting anything too hard with our special attack, and you wonder why I'm worried about Agatha and her Gengars. Take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not right now, folks, or alternatively, take guesses on how long before I have to max out our level with rare candies. Ice Trainer Lorelei is first, and I don't know whether to be confident or not. There are a few glimmers of hope, but by the by, we are probably going to struggle to damage her. That is what I'm worried about. Dugong, very bulky. Cloyster, very defensively strong. Slowbro, very defensively strong. Lapras, quite bulky. So, when I put it like that, anyway, this goes bad. It turns out I'm right, we can't quite hit hard enough. Dugong is a 2-hit with Return and only goes to Safeguard, which, pretty nice because we're not going to be trying to lower its stats anyway, so that's a wasted turn. I think I just forgot what Safeguard did, which, quite weird considering I was using it in the last challenge. Cloyster pretty much stalls with Hail and Protect, turning out to be very annoying. Return doesn't do much damage, so I start trying to hit it with Surf instead. That's a good strategy. We drop its health considerably until she switches into Lapras to block the Surf with its water absorb ability. And then we have the task of trying to wear Lapras down. This took an inconsiderate amount of time, thanks to it having a berry and her dropping a full restore. Our returns don't do a huge amount of damage, not even close to it. I reckon it's probably about a 4-hit takedown at this point. Worse, it does hit us pretty hard with Surf, even as we do manage to recover health. It has a sliver of health left at the end. I figure it's got to be on less than 5 HP, and so to conserve return PP, because I am arrogant enough to believe I can still win at this point, I try to finish it with Ice Beam, only for it to survive completely and take us out with its own Ice Beam. Oh. I boost our level and immediately go again. We go at her at level 95 and it's amazing what a difference those 6 levels make as we again 2-hit Dugong. This time it goes for Hail rather than Safeguard, and this is quite important later, as you'll soon see. Cloyster does spam Protect and Spikes to waste turns, but even though our Surf doesn't do a lot, we soon battle through it with a series of return attacks. Slowbro comes out while the Hail is still up and gets chipped down by the Hail twice, which, as we hit it with 2 returns, is a massively positive thing, because I think it's possible it survives otherwise. We just keep hammering into Lapras with return, and we get exceptionally lucky with the second one because the berry takes it out of healing range and we can take it out with a 3rd return before Jinx is last and we strike it out with return to give us a win over Lorelei. 4 fights left, come on! Bruno is next. Should be some easy fights here, should be some potentially bad ones. I am worried about the Hitmons, as I said earlier, and Machamp, but hey, 3 knockouts on the Onyxes. Let's be honest, when it comes to Bruno, Onyx is never really the issue. Anyway, Onyx number 1 hit knockout with Surf, but Hitmonchan survives return and hits Sky Uppercut for decent damage, nearly half our health, before we take it out at the second attempt. Hitmonlee survives return and hits Brick Break, but we do just about survive on red health before the Machamp is next. Return does about a quarter of its health and then it takes us out from low health with a cross chop. Let's try that again a few times. There were some inaccurate moves on display there. I make a lot of attempts and we lose so many efforts to Machamp, which prompts me to reconsider a few things. First, we need to stop getting hit. That would definitely make things simpler. If Hitmonchan lands Rock Tomb, we are just about screwed, because that speed loss is fatal. Also, I kept trying to freeze Machamp, but with no luck. I also don't know how it landed as many cross chops as it did, since it doesn't have No Guard as an ability, which would explain it. Bruno's Machamp doesn't get that ability until Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Okay, max level and double team time. This goes so much better. Versus the first Onyx, I go for 2 double teams to boost our evasion because I figure that it's a safe opponent to power up on. We can take it down with a single Surf, so it's not like it's going to be hard to beat after. Hitmonchan doesn't hit us and we can take it out with 2 returns, but Hitmonlee does get through the double team somehow and land a Brick Break, which, annoying. I take the chance to use another double team when Bruno heals it and then we can dismantle it afterwards. The Machamp does land a Rock Tomb through 3 double teams, which is actually incredible and I have no idea what the maths are on that, but with a series of returns we do manage to overpower the 4-armed Behemoth this time, and at the end it's a simple matter to down Onyx number 2 with another Surf. Okay, 3 to go! Agatha is up next and I've been dreading this. I don't have Iron Tail as an option now unless I want to get rid of return, which I don't, so I'm going to have to try and brute force her with Surf and Ice Beam. The words, oh dear, spring to mind. Yeah, this goes bad. We don't do too much damage to her first Gengar with Surf and then that immediately double teams. We go for a double team of our own and it then lands Toxic. Yeah, we just lost. Our health bar isn't empty yet, but give it time and we're going down. It also has Confuse Ray, which, pretty annoying for sure, so I need to double team like mad and hope that it never lands Toxic. We get insanely lucky in a few areas on that next attempt for sure. we get 3 double teams up at the start versus the Gengar, and it only mirrors us with 3 double teams of its own. We do get Confuse Raid, which isn't good, but it does miss a Toxic. We also crit our second surf to take it out and give us a win. Golbat is next, and we take it out with Ice Beam and return, but we do get hit with an Air Cutter. A little unlucky, but okay. Next is Arbok, and we keep hitting returns and surfs to try and bring it down. She does heal the Serpent, but we can soon wear it down again. It does hit a Sludge Bomb, but doesn't poison us. That doesn't happen until the second Gengar comes out. Somehow, it does put us to sleep with Hypnosis, but when we wake up, we eventually get tagged with a Sludge Bomb and it poisons us, even as we do eventually take it out. Haunter is last, the poison sapping us. We land a Surf, it survives and goes for Mean Luck. It survives our second Surf, but then goes for Curse and takes itself out, giving us a win over Agatha. Come on, 2 to go! Lands them. Could be simple in theory, but I think the practice is going to be very different. Man, I wish we were part Fairy type. That'd show him. We're not though, and I need to figure out a way to get past him. I mean, we have Double Team, and it'd be really rude not to use it, I suppose. Let's go and do this. Gyarados is first, we get Intimidated, which is going to affect us for the rest of the fight. We go for 6 double teams just to make sure that we are suitably elusive to hit, not that we're completely immune, mind, because some hits do still get landed throughout the entire fight. Gyarados only ever really goes to the Bite and Dragon Rage attacks. Some of them connect, some of them don't, but either way, we're not too fussed about it, as we blast it with returns and Ice Beams. Neither do particularly much damage, but it is what it is. Eventually, he heals it, and we go on the offensive again, bringing it down. He goes for Aerodactyl next, and our Surf doesn't do much damage, especially when he connects with Ancient Power and gets the Omni Boost. But he never lands another attack, and soon we bring it down. Dragonite is a 2-hit with Ice Beam and only goes to Safeguard, which, considerate of him. The Dragonair, both of them, are soon taken down without too much trouble. Their attacks don't connect on us, we can shoot them down with Ice Beams, and it soon gives us that win. Interesting. Didn't expect that to be a first try victory. I bet I don't do the next one on the first try. It's the final rival battle with Rod, the champion fight, and this is going to be painful. It always is in this game with Pidgeot at the start. If I get Sand attacked, it's going to be harder to win. If I get Feather Danced, it'll be way harder to win. Double Team isn't going to be massively helpful here because it does have Aerial Ace, but damage is preferable. The first attempt, we get all the way to Blastoise and then go down, but the second attempt goes something like this, as we get 6 double teams up versus Pidgeot, we get hit with both Sand Attack and Feather Dance, as well as a flurry of Aerial Aces. Yeah, we're up against it now. I think this is going to be rough. Maybe, if we get some fortune, we might still be able to get through it. I get hit with 6 Aerial Aces throughout the course of this battle, which isn't pleasant, even as we take it out with Ice Beam. Alakazam is next, and thanks to the Feather Dance, it's a 5-hit with return, 2 of which put it to the point that he uses a full restore on it. It flings so many psychic attacks at us, but none of them make contact. And after taking the battering from Aerial Ace, our health is slowly creeping back up. Executor is next, and we start firing Ice Beams. He does connect to Sleep Powder, but never lands another attack, and we quickly wake up and continue to fire Ice Beams at it. He does heal it with a full restore, but 2 more Ice Beams do bring it crashing down. Rhydon is next, and it goes down to Surf, which is an easy win, before Arcanine is next up, and we carry on surfing. It never makes contact with any attacks on us. He does heal it up, but we can just surf it down eventually without any sort of trouble. And last is Blastoise. Blastoise! Ha 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 ha! It goes for Rain Dance and tries to make contact with Hydro Pump attacks. One of them does land, and it does a lot of damage to us, but we do avoid a lot of attacks. Eventually, he moves on to landing Bite attacks, and some of them do make contact, but not in any sort of debilitating way. We hit it with a lot of returns to the point that he does heal it, but with him insisting on keeping the rain up, I move on to using surf attacks to damage it, since they're boosted somewhat by the rain and our attack has been wrecked. It's a long slog, but eventually we bring the Blastoise crashing down, and that gives us a massive victory, as we can go on to enter the Hall of Fame, and Azurill has done it. Well, that was interesting. It wasn't actually as bad at the end as I thought it might be. I mean, it's never entirely pleasant when we have to resort to double team to win, but just remember what I said at the start of the video. Less base stat total than a Caterpie or a Weedle. I think this definitely goes as one of my better achievements for sure. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, drop a subscribe if you haven't already done so, throw me a comment too. Strange way of putting it, I know. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge, as I see if I can beat Pokemon Yellow with just a single Poliwag. Was just going to say another water type, but that's not technically right now, is it? I keep forgetting Azurill isn't water type. It probably should have been normal water type, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter. I need to go and catch my breath, folks. That was intense, and I sure hope that you've stuck to the end. Not really got too much to say. Last few weeks have been a whirlwind, and I've barely had a chance to catch my breath. Well, I did get back together with someone, so that's a lot off my mind. See where it goes. I've got a good feeling. But yeah, we're on the journey. I'm going to jump off now, folks, so I'm going to see you next time. Bye-bye now. So long. See you.